So you just defeated the evil creature Mundbarda after almost being killed, but calling upon your patron. And where is everybody's totem gone now? The rats have disappeared.
No, all I've got's a black map with a few pub.
Because the totems are not. Okay. Oh. So we've got Luke. We need Lucas as well, don't we? For some reason, I may have been testing lights, and that's why it's off.
Ah, that makes more sense.
Right, can you all see the little room now?
Yep. With the 4 blue splodges in it.
Yeah, with the 4
and the rest of us.
4 blue splodges and a bunch of you.
Those blue splodges, did you say they were the Rilk or not?
They're the urns that are full of fat cash.
Heavy.
They jangle a whole lot.
Plus Magnus's empty Hessian sack, which is now jangling a lot also.
Let's fill Magnus's sack.
Here, hold on.
Alright, keep your hands to yourself.
Oh, if you don't want all these Rilk.
No, I'll help carry them. Not
Each urn contains 250 silver smurdocks, but you've only opened 2. Thus you will see there are 500 silver smurdocks in the party fund.
And open the other 2.
Right, so with...
First. Yeah.
Go on then, give us a thievery. I'm just resetting the bennies and what not while we're doing this.
I'll give him a hand. I don't think I need to give him a hand, do
I? No, so Lucas grabs it and prepares to twist the top off. Bert leaps forward and says, wait, and has a poke about with his little thieves' tool and declares them free of traps.
No, I'll twist the top off.
I start walking away rather fast.
Yes, you have 1,000 silver smurdocks. Ooh, plus whatever Magnus half-inched on the way. Nice.
Yeah, I shove some in my pockets and, in my various places I keep money because I'm greedy. And then we'll put the rest in the big sack.
Yeah, so other than this chamber, you've got the tunnel leading to the north, or you can go back to the tunnel to the room with the pool in.
Did we search the stuff in the room with the pool?
You didn't actually search any of the rooms, if I'm correct. You avoided touching anything. Like
we don't
the 2 statues.
Unless they had gems for eyes, I'm not going back.
Well, they were all just carved wood statues of Isaac.
Oh, it's my favourite god. I stole them from my campaign world. No, we'll crack on.
Right, so the narrow tunnel winds north, or are you going back because you haven't been round that corner yet to the north, or are you heading back to the room with the pool?
Wasn't there sarcophaguses?
There's sarcophagi in the other rooms to the northeast of you.
That's right.
There's one with 2 sarcophagi in, and some steps leading down, and there's one with 1 sarcophagi in. And that is the one where you saw the skeleton with the silver hands. However, the silver hands are now lying on the floor in front of you as the rats carried off most of the body of this still living undead beast.
Well, better shovel the silver hands into the sack with the money.
You never know when you need a hand, do you?
Oh, exactly.
Right, so you grab the creepy hands that ran by themselves and forcefully stuff them into your sack without a second thought.
Aye, basically. And when you say grab, I mean open the sack and poke them in with the toe of me boot.
Yeah, gingerly. And then you hold the
Aye.
stack very still up in front of your face to see if there's any wriggling going on.
You basically, yes.
Yeah, you watch it for a few seconds, but nothing appears to happen.
So, lads, do we go around the top end or do we go back the way we've come and do a good search? What do you reckon?
Top end.
What say you, Bert?
Yeah, we're here now. Let's check this bit out.
Right, go around the top. Aren't you supposed to go? What's our movement? 4, 6, 6.
It doesn't matter. You can just move to the next.
We're gonna move along
next,
carefully.
Yeah, you move carefully along together now. Not running off in all directions like headless chickens. And you appear, Bert, you the first one around the corner, you peer up and see another open secret doorway hanging open, which leads into another chamber to the north. So presumably you have your little torches out and what have you.
I have my lantern and in one hand and my rapier in the other.
Right, you shine your torch inside this large, your lantern inside this large chamber. The floor, ceiling, and walls of this chamber are all covered with arcane symbols and mystic glyphs, although nothing more is visible besides the ever-present cobwebs, dust, and rat holes. Unless that truly is the glint of a few gold coins scattered along the far wall.
Well, we'd better go and investigate the far wall, hadn't we, chaps?
Well, I'll have a look down this entranceway first.
Right. You notice on heading past that there is some kind of bladder that was attached to the door, but that had been moved when the door was opened from the other side. So you step gingerly into the room, covered with arcane and mystical symbols. What do you do?
I will use my sword to point at but not touch the bladder and say, any idea what that is, Bert?
Poison gas, I reckon.
Yeah, you've met several types of poison gas that seem to be pervading these mystic tunnels. It's all gone quiet, however, and nothing untoward happens. Lucas, you can see further down into another chamber. I don't believe you would get that far, but Bert had gone that way, and there are 2 sarcophagi in that chamber. Right.
I'll just.
Do you want to all give me some notice rolls while you're in this chamber? Right, everybody passes there. You poke what may have been the gold coins, but it's actually just a part of an alchemical symbol that has been painted in some kind of gold paint and has started to fade and pale. So with a little curse, you move away from the back wall.
Just hold here till everyone's finished what they're doing, and then we'll head along.
Yeah, there's just a curse from Magnus.
Voices.
Very good. Are you proceeding to the next chamber? The lantern shines into a somewhat larger kidney-shaped chamber, dominated to the south by two large wooden sarcophagi, each carved with a figure on the lid, one of a matronly-looking woman and the other of a thin, balding man. The passage leads to the east, and also there's a passage to the north which has stairs leading down.
I'll point at, with my sword. I'll point at the caskets and say, "Worth a look, boys."
Yeah, never seen a bit of grave robbing, do you?
No, well, they don't need it.
Right.
Check for traps and
The two, as you approach the sarcophagi and Lucas shines his lantern down upon them, you notice that there are carved wood figures of rats and sharks have been carved around the wooden figures. Above one is the name carved into the wood, Osef, and then the other is Eva. Do you want to give me a general knowledge roll?
I was gonna say, does any of this mean anything to us?
Is that common knowledge?
Yes. Bert gets a critical failure. And yet the clueless street tough passes. Bert, you believe that Osef and Eva were two famous characters in a play by the great Lankhmar bard, and they were from two rival families, and there was a lot of dancing and some suicide pact or something. It was supposed to be a comedy, but it wasn't that funny. Right, so the rest of you that passed, the sharks and rats are indicative that the people in the sarcophagi were from Lankhmar or the Lankhmar region, because they have very popular temples to the shark and the rat god.
I think these are from Lankhmar, boys. Also, they might have been in a play. I'll turn out Bert.
Bert's like, nah, they were definitely in a play, them.
Well,
oh, sorry, I've gone all where at again now.
If someone trapped it, will you, Bert?
Does that mean anything towards whether we open those or not?
No. It's just that they are not from around these parts.
Bloody foreign treasure, maybe.
I was going to say, maybe they've got something in there we could sell back to whoever for a handsome.
Right, so Bert, are you going to attempt to search these for traps?
Yep, yeah. I'll search mine as well, if that's all right.
Right, so whoever's got the higher notice dice.
Yeah.
Okay, wow, all right. Bert gets a 21.
Holy
yeah.
And Magnus gets 6.
Yeah. So
we'll like Bert, shall we?
Bert, the one on the left on the map there, which is Osef's sarcophagus, appears to have a spring-loaded blade of some kind.
I shall disable it.
Okay, with a 21, you feel your way around, and you one of the carvings is actually a catch that rotates, and there's a gentle clinking noise as something falls into place, and you're fairly sure that was the safety catch. And do you want to check the other one, or do you want to open this one?
I'll open this one first.
Me, yeah, all right. I'll go and open it but anyone got a tool?
Everybody's bound to have crowbars and stuff like that. A bunch of thieving gets like what you is.
Right, I'll get the crowbar out and push it open with crowbar.
Crowbar, yeah. Everybody owns a crowbar. It's actually in your inventory.
Oh, no. But a rattle, no, but you can have crowbar, son.
Yeah, everybody's got crowbars.
Hold up.
Right, so you pop the crowbar underneath and heave, and with a great creak and then followed by a crack, the wooden lid breaks open. Inside is a long dead skeletal figure dressed in burial robes. Because of your common knowledge, you recognise them as Lankhmar roles. It looks like this man was some kind of mason, because he seems to have been buried with a number of worn and seemingly unremarkable stonemason's tools.
Oh, and they buried him in a wooden casket. Hope he was friendly with the Carpenters Guild.
So, are you having them or are you leaving them be?
I'm not making a load of bloody tools.
We'll tap them. We'll get a few copper for them.
That's all drink money, like.
Right, and then approaching the other one. If one person wants to help out the other, you can roll your thievery, and then if you succeed, they get a +1 on their roll, and if you get a raise, they get a +2.
Right, I'll give mine.
And if you fail, you give them a -1. That's a 2. So you try to help, but you get your cack-handed self in the way.
Yeah, that'll be me.
Bert still rolls a 10, however. Slapping your fingers out of the way. He says,
Sorry, Bird.
you ask for Lucas to shine the lantern over there, and when he does, you peer into the lock, and it looks like there's some kind of needle inside with a dark and sticky substance on it.
Well, disarm the trap.
Right. Again, you've already made a pretty good thievery roll, so you reach inside with a pair of pliers and snap the needle off, and it smells a strange scent on the needle as you pull it apart with a pair of pliers, and then presumably Court and Lucas are going to get at it with crowbars.
Aye.
Popular item, crowbars, aren't they?
I'm a big fan.
Yeah, with a big heave and a grunt from Court, there's a loud snap as the sarcophagus pops open, and inside is a lady wearing an Lankhmar robe, but she is bedecked. She has pearls interposed with shark teeth on a strand of silver that looks worth quite a bit. A dozen rings are scattered around her finger bones. They mostly look silver, but they've got gemstones in them.
I shouldn't do this, but because my character's greedy, I'm going to start snatching stuff off and like throwing it in bags and shoving it in pockets and stuff.
Yeah, so
Handing it to people.
you gather up a string of pearls with shark teeth and a dozen silver rings with gemstones. Do you want to make me some kind of, I'd accept thievery or common knowledge at -2, so you'd have to type -2 into the modifier box? Or if you have
make a roll as well because we're watching them.
Yep. Thievery, i.e. fencing. You don't get a -2 on the fencing.
God, useless tonight.
You are. It's because you've got a wound. I mean, you do have a salve that will instantly cure a wound, or you could appeal for help from your patron. However, once you get a chance to rest,
Can I nail it closed?
critical failure. Caught you just shrug your shoulders like,
Oh no.
Right. So, Bert, running your practiced eye over these gems, you realise that they're very cheap common stones. They've been cut to appear more expensive than they are, but they're actually just cheap stones. You reckon you'd probably get between 2 and 20 gold rilks a piece for them. But the necklace, though, that looks worth, like, you'd be worth a pretty penny.
I tell the
Nice.
lads this then.
How do you tell the lads? Are you like, oh, you get some cat food for that, like?
That's a bit of pussy for that one. Doesn't sound the same.
Well, the necklace is a cat's meow, lads.
That'll keep pussy in milk for weeks.
Indeed it will. So you, having thoroughly robbed the graves of these two Lankhmar people,
I just watched.
there are several. Actually, you can have a Benny Earl for being a greedy blader and grave robbing. Just remembering, I'm writing it all down.
Albert.
You have the stairs down, or you have the corridor leading back to the east, back towards the pool room.
Stretch those caskets as well.
The room to the east had the simple table on where the skeleton was with the silver hands. However, that animated and followed you through the dungeon. So when you shine your lantern into that room, because you can see it from that room, it is no longer there on the table. You do have the silver hands.
Go in there and have a look, eh?
I'll keep an eye out the top of those stairs just in case anything comes sneaking up.
Right. Okay. You head to the top of the stairs. Have you got a lantern as well, or are you lying there in the semi-dark?
I've got a lantern.
No, I've got a bullseye lantern. I'm presuming it's one of them hooded ones.
It is, yes.
You know, so you can do the thing of shutting one eye to preserve your night vision, having a look around with a lantern, and then closing it off.
Yep. Right, so you got 12 silver rings, 1 silver and pearl tooth necklace, and 1 pair of silver hands. It's nice to see that Andy's fear of undead doesn't get in the way of a quick profit.
I'm not afraid of undead. I just don't like them.
Right.
Right, so this room, the last resting place of the silver hand. This one is dominated with an oblong stone upon which rested the skeleton, and that's where the hands had ran to and jumped onto the skeleton, which is then obviously animated and then try to do something nasty there. You can't run through a wall
Oh, sorry, I thought.
as much as you
Right.
like to, but you peer down the stairs. If you shine your lantern down, you can see what looks to be maybe the corner of a work table down at the bottom.
Ah. Okay. And I shall creep stealthily down to the bottom of the stairs and have a peep round the corner.
Right. But Magnus bravely sneaks off down the bottom. The damp chamber contains several rotten work tables that still have skeletal remains strapped to them with thick leather thongs. A large rack, its wooden parts covered in fungus, and its metal gears frozen with rust stands in the north corner. To the south, the broad steps lead downward. 2 sets of steps lead up from here, the one you're on, and one to the east. There's a vaguely sweetish, sickly smell to the air. You want to give me a notice roll?
I certainly will.
4, that's close enough. Yeah, it seems to be emanating from the south of the room, and a number of large fat flies buzz lazily around the room, apparently attracted by the sickly smell.
It's the smell of rotting flesh.
Here you go. Andy, this is even you holding the lantern, look.
Pretty much.
That is one of the skeletons strapped to the rack in a not creepy Hammer House horror way in any way. Right, so as he has creeped off, Bert is following him down the stairs. What about you, Lucas?
I noticed that the others have left.
Make a notice roll. Yes, because you are alert. You know that Court is just behind you, but you can't say the other two.
I'll turn around, look at Court, and point down the stairs, and we'll head that way with them.
I'm not. To say, yep, they've gone down there.
Right,
I'll wait till the others arrive, and then I shall communicate with whispers and hand gestures and point out, that sickly sweet smell and the big fat flies and stuff.
Can you smell that?
So you creep down the stairs,
Into the
peering
crypt.
into this room.
Making room for everybody else.
Right, Magnus actually heads into the room, and you see in the southern part of the corner where all of the flies seem to congregate, some steps that look like they're leading down into the darkness.
Now, hang on. Looking at this map, the only stairs that I can say are stairs up that lead up to another room and then back up to the pool room. So is that like the bit next to that?
There's a bit, Bert, being as fearless as ever, just immediately strides over and heads down to the southern bit, and there's another part of the room with broad stairs leading directly down into a room that's around 25 feet square, filled with a shimmering pool of yellowish, sweet-smelling, viscous liquid. It's translucent and appears to be only 1.5 or 2 feet deep. And this is clearly what draws the flies, for they buzz thickly over it.
Better a silver piece or something in there. These skeletons, Rich, is there still meaty bits on the bones, or they're all just bones now?
No, they're all just bones. It's been some time. Right. Bert is only around 12 feet away from that bottom corner and the stairs leading up.
Well,
Are you pulling the lantern as well, Bert?
Yeah.
Being majorly curious, I'd better go and have a look.
You better go and have a look. So you head over to the pool. It's slightly jelly-like.
Gelatinous cube.
Is there anything around there on the floor that I could... Oh, I know. Can I borrow a bone off one of the skeletons and just give this pool a very gentle poke?
Yeah, you easily snap off an arm bone from one of the skeletons tied to the table, and you poke the gelatinous mass, and it's kind of goopy, a bit like jam, and you realise there's something in it, and you poke it, and a small ripple spreads out, and the ripples gets bigger and bigger and spreads across the entire surface, and you hear a strange voice as the gelatinous mass ripples. You know when you're like, you speak into a liquid and you get the ripples that vibrate. The ripples like contract and vibrate as the thing vibrates, and it's
Jelly on a plate.
it's you, a strange, haunting, echoing whisper.
Oh, looks.
Around for who did that?
As it speaks, the ripples like get faster and slower, and apparently they're creating the air pressure that creates this strange, eerie voice.
Well, I may as well answer its question. I am Magnus. Who are you?
Where is my batter?
You'll need to ask the rats. They got a bit carried away with them, or I got a bit carried away with them actually.
So he's dead.
No, I think he's just having to lie down.
Right, the gelatinous ooze starts to form and grow into a vaguely humanoid shape. It doesn't have any facial features, and its hands are just big round lumps of gelatinous mass. And when it speaks,
shit.
the whole thing vibrates up and down, as well as the pool, again creating this eerie sound. And Magnus begins to back up. What about the rest of you?
It's a bit difficult, being majorly curious and minorly cautious. I really want to know what that is, but I don't want to touch it.
Yeah, so this awful thing gets bigger and bigger and stands there, a vaguely humanoid shape.
Now, just so as you know, we had nothing to do with Monbarda. It was the rats. The rats what done it. It wasn't us.
No, it is good that he is dead.
Ah, well, in that case, it was us. Well, we helped.
He tortured the creatures in here.
Well,
he
that's
drained
just
their
not nice.
spinal fluid, trying to cure his own deformed spine, and the leftover spinal fluid and viscera and chemicals he dumped into this pool.
Horrible chap.
I'm glad he's dead.
Well, we're not exactly heartbroken neither. So how come you end up in this pool?
He says, I am the pool. I am the creation, the joint spirits of all of the creatures that he drained the viscera for and poured into this pool and cast dark magics upon it. And then he says, we are many, and then you see loads of like heads come out from the main like neck bit.
I'll look at them and go, hello.
I'll turn around to court and give him the what the hell's he done this time look, and then motion over to Magnus.
What do you intend now that Monbarda is dead?
I don't know. I don't seem to be able to die. I've been waiting to get my revenge for an uncountable length of time. I really don't know what to do now.
Yeah, come to the pub with us.
Yeah, do you want a drink?
Well, he says, and you can see like there's all these dead flies that have stuck to him, kind of floating inside the goo. He's like, I don't really drink. I dissolve the flies usually.
Do we by any chance know where the city midden is? Because there'll be millions of flies there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you'll know where the city midden is.
Well, if
No.
if flies are your kind of thing, we can suggest somewhere.
This is acceptable. There is no reason for me to stay here if Monbard is dead.
Oh, yeah, definitely dead.
So in a sort of half-flowing, like the goo flows up the steps and the semi-formed legs kind of walk, but they don't leave any gaps, if you know what I mean. They kind of form like a jelly baby type of shape, and it starts walking towards you, but the spinal fluid golem thing sort of flows, walks, and begins to follow you.
Really need to stop making friends.
Yeah, now what we're going to do when you release a hideous gelatinous beast into the middens of Lankhmar, that's not going to be terrifying at all, is it?
Not all.
Well, no, but if he finds a home in the middens, and he'll have an unlimited supply of flies, so he might be happy with a bit of luck. And as long as nobody can prove it was us what done it, which is even more important.
Which is the most important thing of all, yeah.
In this land, the most important.
So this creature lurches and floors and walks all at once and begins to follow you.
I'll turn around. You got a name?
Not anymore. We're all joined together. There's many voices.
Well,
That's
how
good.
should we address you then?
We'll just call them Many. Does that fit?
Many.
Legion.
Yes.
Good hope. We're just going to have a quick poke about now. We'll take you up to a place we know that you love.
How tall is he?
Right, so the pool was about 2 feet deep and roughly 25 foot square.
Yeah.
So when he all smooshes together, he can be anywhere from about 6 feet to 12 feet, but there's still a big pool of himself around his feet, if you know what I mean.
Right, because all I'm thinking is, if I can explain to him that when we laid him out of here, it would probably be better and he would draw less attention to himself if he could make himself roughly the sort of size we are, and we'll put a cloak over him just so
You're
that...
going to put him in a trench coat, aren't you?
Pretty much.
We're going to
And
put
then
the spinal
then we
fluid
can-
golem thing in a trench coat.
And give him a joy hat.
Aye, a spare cloak at least, so we can lead him through the streets without, without him sort of getting into bother.
Yeah, I guess. Okay.
After he leaves the room where he's been, Rich, I'll have a quick mooch in where he was lying to see if there's anything maybe in the bottom. Any jewellery or anything like that's been thrown in.
You give it a quick search, but there's nothing there. It seems to be the dumping ground for when you examine the skeletons that are on the racks and things. They have large syringes and pipes and things running into their spine. So it looks like he drained all of that and then dumped all of it into that. There's some kind of sluice or...
Lovely.
Yummy, this place. Right, Bert, looking rather nervous at Many, who is a primordial gelatinosa, apparently, heads up. The steep stairs, Dave, lead into a chamber, and rats scurry away from your light. Inside this room are shelves full. You can't escape the uncanny feeling that these rats were studying the esoteric books and papers strewn around the chamber. Fallen shelves, collapsed tables, and the ruins of a chair show that this was once some kind of library, but damp, mould, and rat droppings have destroyed much of what was once here.
It's Nim.
So Bert is at the top of the stairs, bravely.
I'll go with him. Away, son.
You head up the stairs. And now I have to have the golem thing with you, don't I? That's not going to come into any kind of problem.
I mean, it's better than fighting it. I mean, it's not his fault he's here.
True.
Right, so you head up into the mouldering library.
Just out of curiosity, do you think we could introduce him to our patron?
Oh, you absolutely could do that.
Or do I get the feeling that our patron is more likely, rather than sort of befriending him, to vivisect him to see how he works?
It is entirely possible that the patrons that you had initially been employed for are completely alien in nature. And I mean that in the most literal of senses, so they literally could do anything.
Right. Well, I think under the circumstances, we shouldn't necessarily mention it.
He is being followed by the huge buzzing cloud of fat flies.
We'll have to do something about them.
You notice he brushes past some of the papers, and the papers sizzle as if they are burning or dissolving.
Oh, God.
Lick him.
Well, I suppose we'd better have a bit of a scope out there. There might be something worth money.
Okay, then. I guess it made me a... I don't think there's a search. There's a notice, isn't there? Yeah.
Aye.
Make me a notice roll so as you search the room. Right, so Lucas, first you rake through a mouldering pile and pull out a scroll tube. It's unstoppered, and inside is a scroll.
Scroll's dangerous, I'll say. Could be valuable. But are they dangerous? I'll open it. I'll have a read.
Are you illiterate? Do you have the illiterate disadvantage? Don't think you do, yeah.
Don't, because my family, I was sent to the best schools and all that.
Yeah,
not
so
that I'm street word.
You pull it open, and it is a treatise on the missive of the religion of Crooked Esek, including the mention of his prophet who bears his gift, and the prophet's father, who's called the stonemason.
Hold on.
Do you want to read through it now, or?
Take long?
No. It should only take a couple of minutes, and the others are still searching the room.
Have a quick read.
Right, so peering, you scan over it, peering in the light of your lantern. You glean that Crooked Isek was martyred in Lankhmar, where the misshapen, by birth or by accident, are sacrificed to the shark god. Who was next highest was Magnus. Magnus, you pull out a second scroll. This one is in a hide envelope so that it's been protected from the mold and the damp, and it's signed Mumbarda, Prophet of Isek.
Oh, right. Well, I'd better have a bit of a read then, hadn't I?
Right. Can you give me an academics roll?
Probably not.
So it'll be an unskilled roll.
Yeah.
What?
I was about to go, not a bastard clue, but apparently I'm wrong.
Yeah, well, you partially have a bastard clue. Further down, there are sigils and runes of a definite magical nature that kind of hurt your eyes a little bit to look at. And it
I'll
definitely
try
looks
not
like
to
there could be
fix.
something sorcerous or something like that. It's not just a normal text.
Right. Well, that's going back in the envelope and tucked away inside my jerkin in the sacred pocket. That looks distinctly like it smells of money to me.
Yep, or it could be a spell. If you could just find out what the runes are and just shout them out, it may be able to cast. And the third person is Bert. You pull out a scroll. These are apparently the 3 undamaged books or scrolls or missives. The third is the deed to the vacant lot above the entrance.
Ooh.
Oh, got some places to buy, to sell. Oh, could
Build a
build our
house.
own home here. Because
You're
you've
a
got a
good
lovely
man.
basin.
I don't want to live with you.
Hang on. What about if we've got the title deeds to this place? Many could make his home here and nobody will bother him.
That is true.
True, but would he be happy living there? Or would he prefer to be at the midden?
Well,
Well,
like Inigo
we can ask him.
Montoya said, I've been in the revenge business so long, I do not know what to do.
Turn around to many and say, well, it appears that we now own this place, so you can live here as long as you want and nobody will bother you. Or you can go and live at the midden where there'll be millions more flies.
Or perhaps commute between them.
That
Oh,
would work.
that's going to be fun.
I would do it at night.
Is there sewers in Lankhmar?
Uh-huh.
Well, you could commute via them.
Oh, dear God. Oh, this is going to be one of these things for the next 10, 20 years of role playing. You'll be like, don't go in the sewers in Lankhmar. There's a thing in the sewers. In fact,
Yeah, so
there's
having
many.
done the clues in the opposite order that you were meant to, what you seem to have discovered is that Mombardo was originally from Elithmart, born a twisted child. He should have been sacrificed to the shark god. So his parents smuggled him out of Elithmar, brought him to Lankhmar, and he spent his time researching black sorceries and magics in an attempt to cure his own twisted spine and club leg. And he's lay here for centuries practicing black magic, waiting for somebody to come along and wake him up. That would be you.
Oh.
That's right there.
And with my over 2, does my scroll say something about a cat sitting on a mat eating green eggs and ham? Because that's all it's useful for.
Yeah.
Scroll was tasty.
Well,
Right.
if many wants to commute between here and the midden, we'd better show them where the midden is while it's still dark.
It's true,
Yeah.
You've now explored all of the rooms, although you had not searched them.
The more and search him.
You do notice that there's nothing in the shallow pit, the one strewn with bones in the next room. Many tells you these are some of the earlier ones that were thrown into my room. This is where it all started.
Is there anything that he needs or he would like to make his existence a bit more pleasurable?
I don't know, I've been here for so long. Wait till he gets outside and sees what Lankhmar's like now. It's a huge city. He's like, oh, I can have fun out here. But what I'm going to do now is reveal all of the map as you have explored it, so you can
Right.
see the creepy artwork. 'Cause I love How does one disable line of sight? Boom, there you go.
Right.
So,
Oh, cool.
I mean, I figure we'll head out, and if we bump into anywhere that we haven't searched, we'll give it a quick search. Okay.
so are you're heading out? You've been in here probably at least a couple of hours, so it's getting on towards tea time. And Lankhmar being the city of 7,000 score smokes, it's already smoggy and overcast. But you could hang on to the entryway for a bit until it's a bit darker, so you don't have this. I mean, masking the smell is going to be a problem, and all of the flies that's buzzing around him. You notice as the flies that actually do land on him sort of stick and buzz for a little bit, and then hiss and kind of start to dissolve. So he looks like he might be a little bit acidic.
And he's not really going to be the easiest thing to cover in a cloak, is he?
No, but hey, that's all I'm new. I'm sure you'll find some kind of way of doing it. So you can go out at tea time, or are you going to hang on for a couple of hours till it's dark?
Well,
I think by rights we should wait till it's dark.
Right, so you move forward into the entry chamber. The statues are now inert. Now that the priest of Crooked Isek is dead or dismembered at the very least. Whether he's dead or not, you're not sure. And when you went near to the wooden statues, Dave, the little token he had, the silver token, had glowed red hot. Obviously, if you had gone near them, Andy, then perhaps you might have discovered earlier that you were carrying a token.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so night falls. Many is eager to get out into the city and do what all faceless, multi-being, acidic goo monsters want to do in Lankhmar.
Well, we'd better lead him out into Lankhmar and, sort of stick to the back lanes and alleyways and the shortest route between here and the Min.
Yeah, you better give me a dramatic task and everybody roll me a stealth check.
Right.
Because if the guards come, I presume nobody's going to push them up against the building and pretend to neck on with them.
I doubt it. Well, no.
talk to the guards and be fine.
Oh, we've got a raise, we've got a success. We even got a success from court. Yeah, so only one set of patrolling guards pass you on the way out, but you push into a side alley, and while many slowly stands and dissolves part of a barrel, the guards go past and you manage to lead him to the midden, which he joyfully disappears into and says, you can contact me at home if you need me.
Take care, man.
Just leave a message in my pool, room, bed, not sure. And then, with an acidic hiss and a small puff of smoke, he disappears off into the city sewers.
Brilliant.
Excellent. So you've managed to release a sewer monster onto the streets of Lankhmar. Well done.
Ah, yes, but the best of it is nobody caught us doing it.
And he likes it.
That is very true. Well, completing...
Fun.
You have completed this adventure. You all get an advance. Hurrah.
Ooh,
So if I've got the party sheet. I've got the party sheet and then go advance. Confirm advances. Yay! Everybody gets an advance. You get an advance and you get an advance.
Now, what shall I do with me advance?
You've had 3 now, so you're still novices, but I did make the note with what you